You don't know what's out there.
That's why I would go.
Hi, welcome to Wild Dream, where we get the freshest takes on the latest movies. Do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am?
I'm Jason Statham.
My name's Daniel,
My name's David.
and I host a podcast. We review movies. Ever heard of it?
Ever heard of it?
We're kind of like those guys who stream video games, but a little different.
You're about to hear two sounds next. One's me hitting you, and you listen to this podcast.
You're gonna hear two sounds. Me crying, me coming. And they're both very loud.
Anyways, hi guys. Welcome to Wild Dream, where we give you the first takes on the latest movies. My name is David.
And my name is Daniel.
And why could we have started the podcast that way?
Oh, Mo's calling me. I want to get this on pod. You ready?
Let's get this on pod. Mo's calling Dan.
Hello?
Hello. Hey, Mama.
What's up, Dad?
What's up, Dad? What are you doing?
Why am I echoing in your... What, do you have me on fucking speaker or something?
Yeah, you're echoing?
Yeah, I can hear myself every time I respond to you. Oh, here we go. All right, take two. Hello?
Hey, is that better?
That does sound better. Thank you. I appreciate you for doing that.
I didn't even mean to hang up. I just meant to take you off speakerphone, but...
Yeah, that's what they all say. Fucking men. What's up, cutie pie? I want to pull your meat out. What's
Dude,
going on?
I can't tell what mood you're in right now.
I want to pull your meat out and do things with it. What are you doing? What's up? What are you up to?
You could do that if you wanted to.
I mean, I'm not. There's a non-0% chance I would.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks for
We can take
calling.
it.
Appreciate you calling, man.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I appreciate you. Man. Thanks for answering.
What's up?
No, I was calling to see if I don't know if you saw my text in the group chat, but whenever I was saying I was coming to Colorado, I meant April, not May. I was under the impression that it was already April.
Yeah.
Sorry. I thought it was April, not May. That's when I was planning on coming. But now I want to go on that camping trip, so maybe I just come both.
Well, yeah, we could figure out a time for April. I'm for sure not going to have any PTO, so I'll give you that as a heads up. And then I do have, like, the very last week of April, I have, like, two concerts back-to-back, April 29th and April 30th. So, like, that last bit of April would be the worst time. But
Okay, that's when I'll come then. I'll come
Okay.
29th.
All right, yeah, sounds good.
I'll just see you when you're out at the concert, and then...
Yeah. For two bands that
Hang
you would
out
not
alone in your
enjoy.
house.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Let's plan on doing that, and then I can do the podcast in April with you guys.
It's interesting. You know, you might be doing the podcast in March.
What do you mean?
You know, there's a chance that maybe you'll be on the podcast in March,
Or early April.
or maybe like April 1st,
How?
because I am currently recording the podcast and I've been recording this entire conversation.
Oh, you
Pranked April Fools! April Fools! Dude, you got pranked!
Hey Mo, give us your best Jason Statham impression.
Oh God, give me something to say.
Say, do you know who I am? I'm a working man.
Do you know who I am? I'm a working man.
Yeah.
I bet you guys have been doing that the entire fucking podcast.
What? No.
Oh, okay, well, what's up, Wild Dream listeners? My name's Mo. This is my podcast. Just wanted to let you guys know that Daniel and David have been hosting for the last year and a half, 2 years. But I will officially be taking over come April.
That's not true, but thank you so much for calling. I appreciate you, and we hope to see you soon, sometime in person.
Yeah. Okay, we can text sometime about it. for next month and plan something, and hopefully a good movie fucking comes out once in our life.
We'll see. Maybe we should plan your trip around the movie release.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can. Because I'm pretty free all April.
All right, bet. So
Mostly free 28th, 29th.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, we should do. We can just go see that new Rami Malek action movie.
Oh, dude, I've been dying to see that shit.
Yeah,
I mean, that film looks. That
cinematic film. Yeah, but yeah, we can figure something out.
We can figure it out. Just give me a little ring a ding ding and pull my meat out.
All right, I'll pull on it.
All right, man.
Okay, all right. Love you, buddy.
Love you. Bye.
Bye, Garini.
Bye.
Bye, Dad.
We're cutting that, right?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, really brought the mood down.
He called me dad, and I am drinking Nos right now. So
That's funny.
we just saw A Working Man. Now, this is a movie that we said we were going to go see as a joke. And then I was like, damn, we for real got to go see this movie. And he was like, there's no fucking way. This is such a stupid idea. We didn't see The Beekeeper. This is a sequel to The Beekeeper. No, it's not. It's just another David Ayer movie with Jason Statham that's definitely not made for a wider audience. But then we got to this weekend and our options were A Working Man or The Woman in the Yard. And The Woman in the Yard trailer looked like one of the worst fucking pieces of dog shit. Today's the day.
Today's the day. I guarantee, without seeing Woman in the Yard, I guarantee that A Working Man is better than that movie. So
Yeah. And are we racist for saying that?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, the them thinking that The Woman in the Yard saying today's the day was so scary. They put it twice in the trailer. I was like, oh God.
Yeah, as soon as I saw the Blumhouse
Zero.
logo, I was out.
0% chance. We do have a boycott on Blumhouse, barring a top 5 horror director.
That's right.
So Lee Winnell, I'll put him there.
And maybe barring a sequel to.
Hell, dude, please don't. Please don't
You
make
made
me
me watch A Working Man, bro. We're seeing
I did
Megan
not
2.
make you watch A Working Man. I let you watch A Working
We're
Man.
seeing Megan 2, dude. Let's be real.
M3 and 2.
M3 and 2.
You know, listen.
I'm listening, Linda.
This movie is exactly what you expect it to be. Okay, it's a Jason Statham movie. Like, Jason Statham is like our generation's Bruce Willis.
Because he's bald. He's a bald
He's
guy.
an older, bald action star that all of his movies are the same.
I haven't seen like any of these things. I've never seen the Transporter series.
Crank, dude. You've seen Crank.
I think I've seen Crank.
You've seen Crank 2 High Voltage.
Maybe I've seen Crank 2.
The actual name of that movie. Crank 2 High Voltage.
But
the
they're
way.
all fleeting memories, folks. And
Crank 2, Chester Bennington, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Legend. So I'm just not familiar with this. With his.
He hasn't seen The Expendables.
No,
He
I have
hasn't seen
not.
Hobbs and Shaw.
I have not seen. Why would I see these though? You know, like why would I see these? Like that's what's crazy to me. Like not even like
This theater was pretty packed.
it was packed, and now
But the other thing in theaters right now is Woman in the Yard. So.
exactly, dude. There's no way Woman in the Yard is anything more than either a half point out of 10 or a 1 out of 10.
There's no way that Woman in the Yard isn't AI generated script.
Yeah, I just that trailer was so bad that we saw a fucking Jason Statham action movie. So that's why we're here. But let's get into it. Spoiler free thoughts
Spoiler free thoughts.
for A Working Man.
You know, I am.
Do you know who I am?
I'm a working man.
I'm a working man.
The thing is that, yeah, every Jason Statham movie is pretty much the same. And it really is like he's a normal guy in his daily life, but actually he's a secret karate expert, action movie star, badass who can fucking kill everything and everyone. And the thing that's really stupid about a lot of these movies, like this is a very good example of something very dumb about this movie. This guy, we're supposed to believe, is capable of killing hundreds of people who are in the Russian mafia because he was in the military. I'm like, that's all it takes? Like, he's like, oh, he was a Green Beret, though. I'm like, yeah, I get that he's highly skilled and trained, but it's like, you know, even highly skilled and trained soldiers in combat situations still need a team of people to take out another team of people.
Right.
Like, like we saw a trailer for a movie called Warfare coming out soon. It looks like a movie about like 10, 12, military experts that, were in a situation where they were fighting against other military experts. And it's like, it didn't look like the other guys in that movie are highly trained, skilled berets, but they were still struggling to survive in those situations. So the fact that they're like, yeah, no, this guy could definitely John Wick everyone because he was in the military. I'm like, I don't think that's the only thing you need in order to be able to do that. Also, we're just going to assume nobody else that has ever been in an organized crime was in the military too.
That's what I was thinking too. There's probably military people in the Russian mafia, I was thinking the same thing. It's really silly, but that's what I expected. Like, I expected this movie to be silly. That is really the word I would explain or use to explain this. But also, I'm just not a David Ayer fan. He's one of my least favorite directors. I don't like Fury. I don't like End of Watch. I will never watch The Tax Collector. I did not watch The Beekeeper. I did not watch Suicide Squad. Like, he has already been one of my least favorite directors. So even when he does bigger, projects that are like, hey, you got to see it for the meme or whatever, I'm like, I'm good on that, So I also just expected the movie to be bad. In general, just a bad film, and it was, but I wasn't as like, I expected to really hate my time, like to really hate, like to go, and that feels weird to say. It's like, then why did you go watch it? Because we have a podcast, okay? But I actually did not like feel like, oh, I just wasted 2 hours of my life. Like, I genuinely had a decently good time, and yes, it was kind of. It was partially of, this is so bad it's funny, or this is so silly. Look how it's so funny that there's no logic behind any of this, yada yada. But then there was moments of really cool action, really cool sound design, because we were in the IMAX theater, by the way, so our fucking seats were shaking.
Yeah, we were in the Dolby.
Oh yeah, the Dolby. I meant to say we were in the Dolby Cinema, if you will. So. There were actually moments that were good, as in like, this is good action, this is good fight choreography, this is a creative thing to do during a fight, and this is like super brutal, this is cool. Like, so it's not like the movie was only dog shit trash, but it was a really bad movie, and that's about it. Yeah. It was also way too long.
Yeah, the movie did not need to be as long as it did, and I felt like they were like, how the fuck did we make this movie 2 hours long? And I was like, you don't make it 2 hours long. Just don't do that. They're like, but it's an action movie, it has to be 2 hours. So we got to figure out a way to fill up this fucking time. And it felt like the movie was written out of order and filmed out of order and then edited out of order. And then it's just like, I know there's no order that you have to do any of those things, but just like, I guess what I mean by is the movie felt like they filmed the entire movie. It wasn't long enough. So then they wrote extra scenes and then went and filmed those and put them in the movie after. Like, and I will get to that in spoiler talk, as if anybody.
we would never want to spoil this movie.
Want to spoil.
You're never going to guess what happens in this movie.
You're never going to get a guess whether or not the working man, which by the way, it should have been called The Working Man, not A Working Man.
It is, a working man is an awkward title.
Yeah. You'll never guess if a working man actually saves the person he's going to go save.
Dude, I would never want to spoil this movie for you guys. So I will not tell you if this completely invincible, superhuman level, for some reason, guy makes it to his mission and completes his mission and successfully.
With no harm done to him.
With zero harm done.
Zero
I will not
harm.
spoil if that happens or not.
And I mean zero harm. Like, not a single punch landed. Zero harm done.
So
throughout the entire.
So you have to stay tuned.
You're gonna have to stay tuned to find out if that's what happens or not. But yes, spoiler free. There were some moments of this movie that could have made it better if they leaned into the meme more.
Yes, 100%.
And we will get to that as well.
Yes.
There's an entire section of this movie that could have been cut 100%. Would have made the movie maybe 30 minutes shorter and would have been fine. But what I will say is this is the kind of movie that if you go in with the idea that you're turning your brain off, it's fine. It's fine. Like, and what I mean by that is like let me give an example. The monkey man. Okay, Monkey Man, right? that is a movie that I expected to be a shitty action movie, to just be a John Wick wannabe action movie, right? And they tried so hard to be like deep and serious, and this is actually, there's a meaning behind this movie. That going in with my brain turned off, I was like, this is fucking dog shit. This fucking sucks ass. So I love that this movie didn't try to do anything like deeper than what it actually was. There was like one moment where Jason Statham's like, you mean sex trafficking is bad? And I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it is bad. He's like, all right, time to go kill some people. I'm like, all right, cool. It wasn't like a whole thing.
One of my I have to shout out this specific line because it was so funny to me, but just because you brought that up, there was a moment in the movie where he's confronting one of the people that is responsible for the sex trafficking ring, and the sex trafficking ring guy is like, "Why do you even care so much about this fucking girl?" And he goes, "Do you have a daughter?" And he goes, "No." And he goes, "Then you wouldn't get it." And I'm like, okay, so the only way that you can respect a woman being a person and deserving like their own autonomy is if you have a daughter.
Without having a daughter, I cannot be against human sex trafficking.
Exactly. You wouldn't get it. Oh,
You wouldn't
you have
get
a
it,
daughter,
little bro.
no? Okay, you wouldn't get it. Then you're probably pro sex trafficking because you don't have a daughter.
You wouldn't get it, little bro. You wouldn't get it.
Yeah, you don't have a daughter, so you're probably pro sex trafficking. But let me tell you something.
As someone with a daughter,
After I had a daughter, I was like, wait, women are kind of cool. And
wait,
I was like,
women are humans and they deserve to not be sex
I
trafficked.
hate that sentiment. So it's so Facebook. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. It's so Facebook mentality.
Like, until you have a daughter.
Like, until you have a daughter or a wife or a mother, you know, it's like you don't have to have a woman in your family to respect women. That's insane.
But you
to
know
me.
what, though? Even then, it's the same kind of guy who'd be like, you don't get it. You don't have a daughter. That's also like, whoa, abortion rights are my decision, not anyone else's.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's those same fucking people, bro.
It's so stupid, and that line made me laugh because I was like, "All right, this is not the mic drop that you think it is. It is actually like horrible. That's such a horrible sentiment." Anyways,
and then he kills him anyway. I'm just like, what was the point of all that?
I know it was really stupid.
Like, what would you have done
This
if he
movie's
was
dumb as fuck.
What would you have done if he was like, yeah, I do have a daughter? And he's like, how would you feel if someone did that to your daughter? And he's like, wait, fuck,
Oh
this
my
is really
God.
bad. No, this
No,
is
it's
bad.
like
Because that would be bad if if it happened to my daughter, I'd be upset.
No, it's
so
like-
this is like really bad.
It would be like that episode of Family Guy with the guy in prison, and he's like, he gets the knife that he's been using to kill people, and he like pokes himself and goes, "Ow, wow, this really hurts. Is this what I've been doing to people? Wow, I belong here." Like, you know,
true,
it's
bro.
just so
It's so
stupid.
true.
It's so dumb.
But yeah, it's a dumb ass movie, guys.
It's really
it's
stupid.
really fucking stupid. I can't wait to get to the rundown. So you guys are gonna not believe how
rundown.
fucking stupid the rundown is. Okay.
Hey, The Rundown. There's another action movie.
Is there anybody who pulls off bald the way that Jason Statham does?
No,
No.
he looks great. I could not believe
They made him a
good
working
he
man, and then he gets into the fucking like he puts a suit on for one scene, and I was like, now this is my Jason Statham.
Right. I was literally, when he puts the suit on, I was like, damn, I wish I looked like that.
I know.
Yeah.
I wish I looked like I could fight
how old
in
is-
a suit.
how
do
old
you,
is
How do
he?
you pull that off? I don't know. Let's find out.
Because he looks so good. That's why I was so surprised at how good he looks. I was like, dude, he still looks the same. And all those movies are from like the early 2000s, I think. Like Transporter and Crank.
He is 57 years old.
That is crazy. Wow, he looks great.
Hey, do you know who I am? I asked Daniel, I said, are we going to do a whole episode for a movie just so that at some point you and I could go, hey, do you know who I am? I'm the working man. And he said, yep.
Of course, we're going to try.
I mean, doing the Jason Statham impression is the best part of going to go see a Jason Statham movie.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is that, yeah, I mean, every performance in this movie is mid. No one's great. The script is terrible. The action is fun and silly and way, way over the top. There's like a scene where like someone hits somebody with a motorcycle and it explodes. And I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ. Even like the first fight scene is just like way, way too fucking intense. But yeah, all in all, I mean, it's like there's nothing like offensively bad. And I think it's because the movie did not take itself seriously at all.
Yeah, like you said, if
It's
they
not a
would've-
comedy, but you know.
Right, like you said, if they would have leaned into the meme a little more, it could have been a more entertaining and better experience. But at the same time, I was thinking like probably midway through the movie or so, I was like, hey, this is pretty well paced. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the way they go about pacing the movie is pretty fucking awful, but the pace itself, they go, let's spend this much amount of time on this scene. Okay, next scene. I'm like, yeah, you guys did good on that front. Just move on. Don't linger. Don't, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
That sequence that we will talk about in spoiler, because again, we don't want to spoil this movie. The sequence that you're talking about, again, should have been removed. But even then, it's like, okay, they do this for a couple seconds and then move on. They do this for, you know, whatever. So I was like, okay, they're moving from scene to scene.
And the character himself doesn't change at all. Like the whole time, he's just like, I don't give a fuck. I don't
Yeah.
fucking care. But you know what? The most interesting parts of this movie is like everything I want to talk about, I think deserves to be in spoiler talk.
Yeah.
So we're just going to go ahead and jump into that. I know it's not a very long spoiler-free section, but honestly, this movie's not one I think most people are going to want to go see. And if you do, you know what to expect.
Yeah.
You should know by now what to expect from a movie like this.
Agreed. Yeah, my spoiler-free review essentially is it's a really fucking dumb movie. But if you wanted to go see it with some friends for the meme of it, it's actually not the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
I've seen worse films. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, should we dive into spoiler talk?
Do you know who I am?
I'm the working man.
You know who I am?
I'm dead.
No, spoiler alert. A working man is about 11 Cade, leaving his profession behind to work construction and be a good dad to his daughter. But when a local girl vanishes, he's asked to return to the skills that made him a mythic figure in the shadowy world of counterterrorism.
Yeah.
But he's just a working man.
Here's the rundown.
Here's the rundown. Here we go. I'm ready for this one. This
Okay.
one's getting a riff. You ready?
All right, here we go.
Because I have a feeling.
So, the working man
Here we go.
is about a guy, he's working in construction,
Uh-huh.
and then his boss's daughter gets kidnapped by the Russian mafia.
Okay.
And then he kills all of them and then saves the girl. The working man.
Working man. A working man.
Oh, working man. Sorry.
There we go.
Air horns. That's what happens in this movie. That
Yes.
is the rundown.
There you go.
Yeah, let's talk about some elements of this movie, though.
Let's do it.
Because that is the plot. If you guys think I'm joking, that's the
That
plot.
is quite literally the plot.
That is quite literally what happens in this movie. Now, the section that we said that we could cut is the part where he's not killing people.
Correct.
There's a part of the movie where he pretends that he is a drug dealer so that he can buy drugs from the guy who's doing the sex trafficking. And it's just like this whole, like, I feel like a 30-minute sequence.
It's really long.
And this is the part that I was like, this part didn't exist in the script. And then they wrote it in. And the reason why I say that is he goes to this bar and he gives some of them a crazy amount of money, goes into the back, beats everybody up to prove that he's not a fucking cop. And then the worst part of the movie, by the way, this is the spoiler alert for my least favorite part. Spoiler alert for my least favorite part. He's not the one who says that he's a working man. It pissed me the fuck off. The fact that, like, when we say lean into the meme,
Yeah.
Jason Statham needs to be the one who says a working man in this fucking movie.
Exactly.
He needs to do that. You know, I am. I'm a working man.
Yeah.
But he's not. It's this other guy who's like, you ain't no cop. You a working man.
Yeah. They keep setting it up too. Like they do this like fake shit. They do
Yeah,
this
they
fake
do
tease
fake
shit.
you out a couple times.
They'll have a character go, "Wait a minute. What are you, ex-military?" And you're just waiting for him to go, "Me? I'm just a working man." Or they'll even go farther with it. They're just like, "Wait, I remember you used to be a Marine or whatever he was. I don't know what the different divisions are called, but like you used to be in the military. But I thought now, like, what do you do now?" They're like setting it up.
Yeah. It's like, wait, what are you now?
And then you're like, me and Dave are literally mouthing the phrase "a working man."
Yeah.
and then
We're
he'll
waiting.
be like,
It's nothing serious. And I'm like, no,
like,
no,
Little
say
construction here and there.
yeah. I'm like, no, say working man.
Yeah, say I'm a working man,
Lean
bro.
into the meme. I don't want to get too. I don't want to. I know you're talking, but there's a scene specifically, a fight scene in the back of a truck or a van or whatever, where he uses tools to beat up the people that he's trying to kill.
Yeah.
And David said, like in the theater, he goes,
You should never leave tools around a working man.
and then I was just like, okay, again, as we have said hundreds of times on this podcast, we are available for consultation.
Because that would have been a fucking
That is a
badass
bar.
line. That was a fucking bar, dude.
Exactly. I'm like, dude,
Never leave tools around a working man.
Don't leave tools around a working man.
that's so perfect. That's so perfect. And then they just do nothing with it. I'm
They
like,
do, yeah, they
you
just, he
gotta
just
lean
kills them
into
with
the
a hammer,
meme,
and then
man.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's like this whole scene where he beats up these people in a bar, and then he's like, "I want to buy drugs," and the guy's like, "Okay, so meet us at this fancy restaurant. Wear a suit." Then he buys a suit, goes to the fancy restaurant, gives them a bunch of money. He's like, "I need this much crystal meth every month or whatever." He's like, "Okay, yeah, we got you." And he's like, now he's seen the guy who does the sex trafficking. And then the very next scene is him staking out that bar again, and then the people looking at the camera seeing him.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that whole thing in between this was not part of this movie.
Yeah.
It was not like they filmed all of that, wrote all of that, and edited it in after the movie was already done.
It was so.
Because for it to just go from like, oh yeah, no, I'm working with you guys and I'm like buying drugs from you, to like, look, he's in the fucking parking lot, kill him.
Yeah.
I'm like, then what was the point of the? Why?
Exactly. It's so unbelievably unnecessary. It would have, like we said, it was a really long sequence. So if you get rid of it entirely, which you should have, it would have trimmed the movie down significantly, not
Yeah.
even just a little bit. And also, it's funny too. There's a scene. Again, he's buying drugs so that he can put up a front that he's a drug dealer, but he's not actually into drugs, so he just throws this shit away. But in one of the scenes, and the second time that he does it,
I knew you were gonna bring this up.
yeah, it's like these big bags of blue, crystal meth.
Yeah, it's fucking Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad,
meth,
exactly.
yeah.
That's what I thought. And I was like, so he goes into the bathroom and cuts open the bag of crystal meth and starts slowly. It does a slow motion shot, almost like a toilet POV nearly, and he just is throwing the. I say this lightly. He's throwing the crystal meth away down the toilet. What actually happens is that 30% of that bag of meth makes it into the toilet and goes everywhere else on the bathroom floor.
Yeah,
I'm like, you're just throwing crystal meth everywhere.
You can hear it like hitting the toilet and then falling to the ground because he's just so like just dumping the bag
don't
out.
do drugs.
I don't do drugs. And then I looked over to Daniel and I mimed him on his hands and knees scooping up the rest of the meth
To put in the toilet.
because you can't just leave it.
don't just leave meth
You can't just leave
everywhere.
meth on the ground.
It's so stupid.
So they just have the scene of him just hastily shaking it out. I'm like, show the next scene where he's on his hands and knees,
Yeah.
scooping in a public fucking toilet, scooping up the rest of the meth and putting it in the toilet. Like, come on, man. This is like
So silly.
it was so silly. Yeah, it was so stupid. But I mean, hey, that's this kind of movie, man.
Yeah.
But here's another thing. I know Dan wants to talk about this. For a movie called A Working Man, he really doesn't do any fucking work.
He sure doesn't.
I was pissed about this.
Yeah.
He's an op, bro. He's the fucking foreman for this construction company.
Yeah, the only thing you see him do on the construction site is talk to his workers, which the actual workers. Okay, he's
Who
not
are,
one of them.
by the way, spoiler alert, Hispanic.
Hispanics, yeah. So he has an entire labor force, and all he does is oversee them and make all the money while they get paid pennies. That's exactly what's happening, and it's like so.
Now, he's not the owner of the construction company
Right.
or anything, but literally he's like has a meeting where he's like, I need everyone to work hard today. All right, see you guys later. And then he goes into an office, sits with the owner, and stares at a fucking clipboard.
Yeah, yeah. He does nothing. Like the only thing that you see him do on the construction site is look at a piece of paper where there would be like blueprints or something architecturally.
Yeah.
Like he's just like, looks good. I'm like, okay.
Yep. He doesn't pour any
Working man.
concrete. He doesn't cut any wood.
Nothing.
Which, by the way,
Nothing.
most unrealistic construction site ever, because there were like 45 people working all at the same time. I'm like, no fucking shot, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wonder why construction takes so fucking long, man. I was like, there's no way any construction sites had this many people actively working at the same time.
Yeah, because it kind of so this goes back to what we were saying of like you should have leaned into this or leaned into that. I think the movie would actually be more interesting if there were like reference points, as in you see like Karate Kid, when you see him doing the wax on, wax off, and then he uses that in his fight. He uses the wax on, wax off to block attacks. That should have been what they did in this. You should have seen him doing different tasks on the construction site that he then uses in combat. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
It would have been silly and cool and fun.
Yeah.
But no, he
or
doesn't
like
work.
even seeing him
He doesn't
like
do anything.
Yeah, like maybe he's like in a situation where he gets trapped, but then he knows how to like take apart the cage he's in.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he's a construction guy.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah,
something like that would have been a little bit better. But no, it's just that he's just pretending to be a working man when he's really a fucking assassin.
Yeah, he just wears a hard hat.
He just wears a hard hat.
That is what he
That's
did.
it.
Yeah.
That's the extent of being a working man in this movie. Like, even like when the guy calls him out, he's like, look at these hands. These are the hands of a working man. I was like, are they? Because he doesn't fucking do
He
anything.
doesn't do shit.
He doesn't do shit.
Yeah,
So
silly.
That part was really, I was disappointed by that. I was also disappointed by the fact that the place is, the construction company is owned by Michael Pena. And he didn't hire another Mexican guy to be the fucking foreman, dude. I'm like, what an op, dude! What a fucking op for Michael Pena to rise to the ability to own his own construction company and then hire a fucking white guy to be the goddamn
British
foreman.
guy at that.
A British guy. Which, you know, I brought that up to Taylor and she said, well, he's an immigrant too.
That's fair.
I was like, oh, that's true.
But at the same time, it's a little. I feel like the experience is probably a little different than.
I doubt it. I just doubt it.
Yeah, it was very silly. I just expected to see him actually doing some work, but nope, not. The movie also too. It feels like it was made for a different era. There was like there was such strong 80s, 90s vibes with this movie to me in its filmmaking style. The intro to this movie, by the way, dude. The intro to this movie is kind of like the intro to like True Detective.
Yeah, it's like shot where it's like all these weird shots that aren't part of the actual movie to just like show like war and you know, Green Beret, but also construction and also so it's like this combination as if it's like a True Detective or just like really any HBO or like high level Netflix series intro, but almost like a Medal of Honor loading screen.
Yes, Medal of Honor. It brought back Medal of Honor vibe memories to me, like crazy. Yeah, because the score for this movie too is general wartime, like war movie. Yeah, like super like horn heavy. And so it's just it really is weird because it's like, wait, what is this movie about? because
it's called A Working Man,
and
but it's mostly about a military man.
Yeah, and you get these too when there's a character played by David Harbour who's like an old military buddy of the main characters, and when they hang out, they're just like, man, remember we did some righteous shit, brother. Look at all these guns. Look at my land. Like it's just like a fucking conservative boner. Like it was really weird to me. It was so weird to me, these scenes, and I was like, what am I watching? Am I watching a war movie or am I not? Like so odd.
What it really felt like is it was almost like conservative porn.
Yeah.
Where they're like, I wish I was the badass who took my fucking guns and killed all the sex traffickers.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, man. But like at the same time, there's absolutely zero gun logic in this entire movie. In fact, there's a character in this movie who looks like, okay, if you guys ever seen the movie Grandma's Boy, you probably haven't. But you have probably seen the meme of the guy from Grandma's Boy who is also in Dodgeball. He's the guy in Dodgeball who falls in love with the Russian lady with the unibrow and the big teeth. I forget his name, but he's also in a movie called Grandma's Boy. where he plays a web or video game developer. Yep. I am the smartest man alive.
We need to bring back comedies, man.
We really do.
God damn.
But yeah, if you've ever seen that clip, or if you haven't, bro, go look it up. They have a character in this movie who looks like that guy. He's like 110 pounds, soaking wet. He's got weird bangs and he's just pasty white. And then his like little companion is fucking Uncle Fester from the Addams Family. Like straight up just an Uncle Fester as a spoof. Because he's just bald, completely white with like dark eyes. Scars. And the small guy carries the biggest fucking gun you've ever seen and just hip fires it. Just like tracer round fucking like a turret. He's carrying a fucking turret and he's just and you're just like, and then
he's like walking around with it like it's a fanny pack. Like,
yeah. I'm just like, this guy would be he'd be sent through the fucking wall if he shot one bullet from this gun. He would be dead. He would be dead. And so wait, he just and then they build this up. They build all this up, and then Jason Statham has a scope on his gun that is connected to a camera that is connected to a screen. He has a scope that is a camera that is connected to a screen via Bluetooth on his chest, and he just points his gun out, opens the screen, kills that guy, and then puts it away. Doesn't use that again.
Yeah.
He uses it one time.
Yep.
He has a scope on his gun. That's a camera. And he only uses it once. It just kills the guy who's going gah, 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 gah. And then he just throws a grenade. And then it lands in front of the Uncle Fester guy who's like, boom.
Bang.
Yeah, I was like, this is so fucking Brock Shadow. It's insane.
Yes. I mean, the fact that they are fighting against a Russian enemy was to a T the Brock Shadow experience, right? Even when he gets like super done up and gets all his cool military gear to go in for this final like sting operation type thing where they have this weird party with a bunch of elite guests and all that. It reminded me of Brock Shadow again, because Brock Shadow wears these kind of military things like the bandolier across his chest and his combat boots, and it's just like it was really trippy how much it reminded me of Brock Shadow. And yeah, even so Dimmy, really the main villain in a way.
Yeah.
He
played by the guy who plays Zava on Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso fans out there.
He reminded me of me doing Draven. Like he just did. It was just so silly and
Russian,
cartoony,
Yeah,
and Russian, and so yeah, it was silly. Very. Again, if I'm like, oh, this reminds me of that short film that we made with zero budget for fun to make people laugh. Well,
to make fun of action movies, by the way.
To make fun of movies like this. And it's like, well, this theater was packed. It's like,
yeah,
damn, maybe we should make more shit like that.
Yeah. We should make more Brock Shadow because there's so much for us to do with that. Yeah. And there were moments like that in this movie, bro. And like this movie has terrible exposition. And it's one of those things where I feel like every time we watch an action movie now, we're like, man, John Wick was really good. I feel like when John Wick first came out, we've talked about this on the pod so many times. When John Wick first came out, it came out around the same time as The Raid. And we were like, this movie's not even nearly as good as The Raid. And now we've seen a bunch of other action movies since then. We're like, man, John Wick was pretty fucking good. And I was like, John Wick here's a good example of why like the exposition in John Wick is bad because it's exclusively through dialogue, but it's not bad because they do two things with that monologue where the Russian guy in John Wick gives his Russian son the rundown of John Wick's past. One, the person giving the dialogue is not the person it's not John Wick. John Wick is not the one telling anybody. That's one of the things that makes shit bad. I'm like, nobody just gives all of their information like that, like a fucking weirdo evil villain from a James Bond movie. It's like, here's my entire backstory, and here's my motivation, and here's why I do whatever. This was a different person. And the person he's giving the backstory to, there's no way that person would know this.
Yeah.
Already. Like, it's clear
that's where logic comes into play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, although but it's like, and I do actually love that monologue. Like this line where he says, we called him the Baba Yaga, the boogeyman. He's like, but he's not actually the boogeyman. He's the guy you would send to kill the fucking boogeyman. I'm like, that's a badass fucking line, dude. I don't care what anyone says. I love that line. Mm-hmm. The exposition in this movie is really bad for both of those reasons. The person who gives it is the main character, and the people. This is okay. The main character. Let me tell you what happened in his life. Okay, when he was overseas, his wife killed herself, but she had been struggling with depression for years, and now his dead wife's father now blames him for the death of his wife because he was overseas. But it's not true because she's been struggling with depression for years. So now the father-in-law is trying to fight for custody of the main character's daughter, right? Mm-hmm. We know all this because he gives us all of this through dialogue to his attorneys who are helping him fight for custody.
Yes.
I'm like, you've been doing this for years. And you're just now telling your attorneys what happened to your wife?
It makes no sense. They
you
would
are
know this
talking
already.
to your attorneys who have been helping you fight for custody, and they're acting like you are just now telling these attorneys for the first time that your wife killed herself. And you were overseas and all this shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this, man?
Yeah, it's so silly. First of all, they would already know this. Second of all, the awkward, forced way that they just tee him up for this. Like, they're just like, yeah, we're talking about this and that visitation. Hey, so you and the grandfather, what is y'all's problem? What's the issue between y'all? It's like, y'all don't know this by now?
And he's like, he thinks I killed his daughter. And they're like, did you?
Yeah.
He's like, no, she fucking killed herself. She committed suicide.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, really stupid. They would already know this. It's teed up awfully. Main character gives this is my backstory and this is why. But I'm over it. It's so stupid.
The little girl in this movie says every single line like she was reading it for the first time that day.
Daddy!
She goes, Daddy, I'm mad at Mommy for leaving us and not being here with us.
Yeah.
Daddy, I just wanted to say hi to you. Okay, goodbye.
That was one of the silliest scenes in the movie to me.
When she FaceTimes
him. I was like, what was that all about? That was so stupid.
Just to remind us that he has a daughter.
I'm about to say, I think they were like, hey, can you add this? Because I think the audience forgot he has a daughter, so they probably think that he's pro-sex trafficking. It's like,
so true, bro.
Yeah, it's just random. Like,
okay.
he gets a FaceTime from his daughter while he's staking out a warehouse or some shit.
Yeah.
And there's just no reason for it. She's like, hey, what's up, Dad? What are you doing? And he's like, oh, hey, love, I'm at work. And she's like,
because I'm a working
man. Should have said it. And she's like, okay, cool. I was just saying hi, bye. And that's all it was. I was like, okay, what the fuck was that about? Also, I just want to say, him and his daughter have zero chemistry. I would be shocked if Jason Statham has kids. I would be shocked.
Well, in this movie, it's like, okay.
He does not act like a parent at all.
At all. But the other thing about it is like, I'm like, she's like, what, 10 maybe? Maybe 9? And I'm like, so what, he had her when he was 48 years old?
That's true,
you were overseas in the military at 48?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is that?
That's making me realize that I did not even register that, but that is a weird timeline.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, her granddad is your fucking age.
Yeah. Honestly.
I'm like, the granddad looks like he's maybe like 60s, like early 60s, like 62, 63. And then Jason Statham looks like he's like 55. Okay, well, then you are like 10 years younger than the father-in-law. Like, I don't understand this timeline of when you had this kid. How old was your wife? Like,
it was funny to me in a way because, the way that he talks to his daughter is like he talks to everyone else in the movie. He doesn't change himself at all. She's like, Dad, can we get ice cream? And he's like, sure. Like, it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't believe that this was a father and daughter at all.
Like, his daughter's like, I want to do something bad. He goes, you know I am.
Like,
it's yeah, you're my dad. He's like, no, I'm a working man.
Yeah, like even when the FaceTime, he's like, wouldn't that be adorable to like get a FaceTime randomly from your kid and they're just like, just wanted to say hi. It's like, oh, that's sweet, that's cute.
Yeah.
But he's like, what's going on? And she's like, I'm just FaceTiming you. And he goes,
what's wrong?
He's like, you sure you're allowed to do that? I don't think you're supposed to be on your phone. And she's like, no, I'm not. Okay, bye. And like every interaction that they have, It doesn't matter. Like if it requires, hey, you should be a little more tender. Hey, you should be a little more like this or that. It's not there. He is just constantly in one mode, and he talks to his daughter like she's a fucking coworker. It's insane to me. It's just so weird.
Yeah.
She's like,
There's
Dad,
like a
I'm
scene
not
in
sure.
the
I'm not sure. I'm scared. There's an entire Russian fucking mafia after us, and they tried to burn our grandpa alive. I'm scared. Are we gonna be okay? And he's like, yeah. Like,
He's like, it's fine.
yeah. It's all right. We'll take care of it. I'm like, can you be a father, dude? Can you just like be sweet and comforting for once?
Yeah.
Like he is so stilted.
He
dude.
gives her this patch,
It's so
this like
stupid.
patch from the military that's like half British, half American. He's like, hey, this is you, fucking freak. No, he's like, this is you, half American, half British.
Yeah.
I'm coming back for that. And then he leaves.
Yeah.
That's it.
See you in a bit, love.
See you in a bit. Couple of days, Max. Yeah, it's so, and you know what? Okay, so here's some silly things in the movie that exist that I thought were funny and I actually enjoyed. Okay, I just want to run through them. The first one is that he pretends that he's not going to help Michael Pena find his daughter who's been kidnapped, and that lasts for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
He's like, please help us. We know that you were a Green Beret, which I'm like, y'all's first option was just some guy who works for you that was in the military at some point. You don't know anything about him. And you're like, yeah, I'm sure he'll be capable of finding our daughter who's been kidnapped by sex traffickers. That's the guy I'm going to go to first.
Wait, why would y'all go to him first? Well, you don't understand. He said he had her back.
And that's
what he says throughout the movie when they're like, why are you doing all this for some girl? He goes, I told her I had her back. Okay.
all right, man. Well, you put your whole life at risk. You put your daughter, your daughter almost got killed because of this.
It's just so funny to me.
Is it worth that? I mean, Jesus Christ.
But he said he had her back.
Right.
Okay.
Which, by the way, she's apparently fucking trained specialist too, because
she's a little badass.
She fucking
man.
fights her captors every single chance that she gets.
Yeah.
I'm just like, really? This fucking like spoiled rich girl is just like a fighter, dude. A fucking like anything. I'm just like, bro, give me Taken. Like,
I almost expected, like, I thought because she kept getting more and more, like, she's doing fucking taekwondo and shit. I'm like, wait a minute, is she going to break herself out? And then by the time he gets there, she's not even there. And then at the end, when they're all happy and sitting on her front porch or some shit, whatever, Fast and the Furious type ending, and they're drinking a Corona, and she's like,
wrong bald guy. Well, yeah, go ahead.
but yeah, and he's like, wait, which bald guy? There's a lot of them. But he's just like, guess I didn't have to teach you much after all, did I, huh? And she's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I guess I'm just a working woman. Just like something
Yeah.
like that, I was actually half expecting that, like at a point, because she was so like smart and whatever, even though earlier she seemed to not be, she was like,
Yeah.
I want you to teach me how to do stuff. I don't know how to do stuff.
Yeah. But anyways, when Michael Pena asked him, he's like, nah, it's not who I am anymore. I'm a working man now.
I left that life behind me.
And then he goes to visit his friend David Harbour, and he's like, yeah, whatever, man. He's like, all right, I'm going to go find that girl. And then he goes back to Michael Pena and is like, you guys are like my family. I'm like, really? Because you said no at first.
You said no immediately.
You said no immediately.
You didn't even think about it.
think about it
Yeah.
once. And then he goes back to Michael Pena. He's like, all right, fine. I'll find your fucking daughter. When I came back here, no one treated me with respect. You, my employer, are like my family. I'm like, what kind of fucking propaganda ass bullshit is this? Because guess what? I bet 5 fucking minutes after you saved his daughter from sex trafficking, he's like, oh my God, all right, for rookie, I need you back at the construction site though.
Yeah.
Like,
He's like, hey, I know you're looking for my daughter this week, but your hours are really low, and we need you to be
hey,
back.
did you submit that PTO request for the time that you're using this to find my daughter?
Hey, I was looking at some reports. Your Gap reports are really rough, brother.
Yeah. So anyway.
You took 5 extra minutes on your lunch. If you forget the daughter, we'll contact the police. We'll contact the police.
Yeah, because we really can't afford all this crap.
We need you back on the site, brother.
Need you back at the site. Thank you, though.
Or, mate, right?
Mate.
As y'all say.
As your people say. But anyways, so he gives up on that idea immediately. The first person that he kills, so like obviously this is the kind of movie where you're like, what kind of kills are we going to see? Like what kind of weird, cool action sequences are we going to go see? He goes to this guy who, by the way, is a bartender who sells drugs for the Russian mafia. He's like, where's the girl who was sex trafficked? And the guy who sells drugs at a bar for the Russian mafia? He's like, I don't fucking know. And I'm like, right. He's a guy who sells drugs for them, like at the bar. It's like not even like he's not even doing it like on the street or whatever. He's just a bartender that they're like, hey, you sell drugs now. He's like, all right, whatever. And then he's like, all right, you're not going to tell me anything. Cut to waterboarding.
When we say conservative boner, I'm telling you.
I swear to God, he was like, where is she? He's like, I don't know. Next step, waterboarding. Doesn't try a finger, doesn't try the electricity, he just immediately goes to waterboarding.
Yep.
I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. And then he explains to him and the audience, I guess, why waterboarding makes you feel like you're drowning. I'm like, we get it, man. You're too fucking intense. And then that guy just gets killed immediately. So he doesn't get the information anyway. So I thought that was funny, even though it was like kind of silly.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
Sometimes it does work in certain favors, like your first example of like he gives up on not gonna save the daughter immediately. It's like, okay, cool, get this moving. Like, don't draw this out. Even though it was drawn out a little bit by the fact that he has to go have a conversation with another Punisher skull guy. It's like, or whatever. At least just keep the movie moving.
Also, everything he does as part of the investigation is really stupid to me, but I thought was funny. He has like a camera in the back of his truck that he just turns the lens towards things that he wants to look at. And I'm like, why are you filming this? Why are you printing shit out and putting it on a corkboard to like figure out who these people are? It's pretty straightforward. It really is. There's not a like huge web conspiracy of like insane stuff. It's really just this guy sells drugs for this guy does the sex trafficking. Okay, there's just one straight line across to the bad guy. It's not this whole web of people with like all these different moving parts. It's really, really simple.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, he is like, he's doing his investigation. He goes and he fucking kills all these people, whatever. But one of the scenes that I also thought was stupid but was funny was the scene where the car chase scene, because the car chase scene was quite literally, we need a car chase scene in this shitty action movie. Yeah. And he was like, they start pulling up to him and he's in his truck. But yeah, so he gets out of his truck, immediately abandons his truck to steal a motorcycle from someone else. And then we get the typical plot armor bad guy aim as they're shooting at him while he is on a motorcycle. They're shooting automatic weapons in his vicinity, and he's not getting hit by a single bullet.
Yeah, the stormtrooper aim, isn't that kind of what they call it? This was hilarious. This is throughout the whole movie. This is where it kind of starts, honestly. But for the rest of the movie, it's the same thing. Like, he doesn't get hit with one single bullet from the goddamn light machine gun guy who's firing a turret. Just so fucking stupid. But yeah, this one was hilarious because it was like, what was funny about it to me the most was that he is getting chased. He's on a motorcycle, so he's completely exposed. These multiple people with multiple different types of automatic guns that constantly spray bullets, and you can just get lucky to hit someone even. You don't even need good aim. They are so bad at aiming that they're missing him. But when they cut to him, and they cut to him like dodging the bullets, he's not swerving on the motorcycle. He's not doing maneuvers. He's just shifting his shoulders a little bit.
Yeah.
That's all he's doing. And it's like, pew, like next to his head. I'm like, no fucking way. You're not even actually maneuvering your actual vehicle to like swerve shit. You're just going, you're barely doing like a Dougie. Like, it's like all you're doing. And then you're like, oh, dodged it. It was so stupid.
Yeah. Very, very stupid. But yeah, I mean, there's the girl fighting her captors all the time was like cool. And there's like, it got to the end where it was like Jason Statham beats the absolute piss out of the guy who kidnapped her.
Oh, Rob McElhaney.
Yeah. And dollar store Rob McElhaney.
We have Mac at home.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, he's beating the absolute piss out of the guy, which, by the way, this is the part where, like, me and Dan are going, yeah, what, yeah, because we're, like, just totally brain rot ready. Like, he was like,
in.
completely no.
Kick his ass.
Yeah, whatever. because fuck this guy. He kidnapped a girl. And he's done this a bunch of times. This guy's a piece of shit. And he's like,
Yeah, they make
breaks his
all the
face
villains.
over the glass and then shoves his face onto the glass and then scrapes it across the It was brutal. But then this whole time, the other girl who's like, a 19-year-old girl just wraps her fucking legs around another girl's head and then just breaks her fucking neck. And I'm just like, okay, you didn't need his help probably.
I know.
The whole time. But yeah, it was just like it was just like imagine Taken, but the girl who gets taken is also a badass.
Yeah.
And the people who do sex trafficking in this movie are really fucking bad at it. Because like at least in Taken,
Horrible.
they were like, oh yeah, as soon as we kidnap them, we get them addicted to heroin. We just make them fucking docile.
Yeah.
And like make them dependent on the drugs that we have and blah blah. So it was like actually like a fucking blueprint for sex traffickers in a really bad way. But then it's like at the same time, it also gave like actual sex trafficking, like habits of like, hey, this is what sex traffickers do. Like this, they find foreign women. They make sure that, they're alone and, all this stuff. Like even the cab sharing thing, like that was like a real tactic that was being used all the time by sex traffickers at that time. In this movie, they were just like, sneak out the back of the bar, and take her. But yeah, it almost felt like the movie was like, we can't have Jason Statham kill a woman. Really,
we have to have the woman kill the woman?
Yeah. It was like Jason Statham can't kill a girl because he has a daughter.
Because he has a daughter. And
So
if you don't have a daughter, you don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like
understand.
to respect women and want the best for them.
Yeah, and it's like without a daughter, I just don't understand why women shouldn't be harmed.
I hate that sentiment so bad, dude. It's the I have a black friend of sentiments. You know what I mean? I have a friend who's black. It's like, okay. I do want to mention the fact that when I talked about there is good pacing, but the way that they go about their pacing is horrible. If y'all remember the Nosferatu episode, we were talking about how almost every scene ends in a big music swell. It just goes, and this movie was that times 10. It was insane how every scene was like this. I'm going to do an audio version of what the experience was like. All right, we're starting a scene. This bald man keeps this weird bald man keeps killing everyone that we know. Who is he? I don't know. They say that he's a working man. Next scene. Dimitri, you are being hunted. By who? Who is it that's hunting me? Let me show you a picture of man that you've met before. Wait, I've met this man before. He's a working man. And the next scene. And the next scene. And then it's the same formula over and over and over. The music swell was giving me a headache at a certain point. It was that bad. So horrible, horrible, horrible. Really annoying. Very stupid way to go about this. And I didn't like it. And that's why I'm going to mention it. And I'm done. The end.
I know this was a very short review for this movie. But
As it should be.
But we didn't do a April Fool's episode, so you're welcome, guys.
Exactly.
We actually did go see this movie.
Yeah. We did not make up a fake movie that doesn't exist.
Would it have been funny if we were capable of doing a review of this movie to trick everyone without having actually seen it?
That would have been good.
I think my favorite part of this movie was the waterboarding scene because of the jarring cut.
You know what? And tell me if I'm wrong, but it's a jarring cut, and I think that the color correction changes.
Yes.
It's like almost black and white. Almost.
Yep. Yeah, it goes from like a bright, normal fluorescent room to like window, like moonlight coming through the window.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
And him waterboarding someone. Because this drug dealer from a bar doesn't know where the girl who was sex trafficked is being held captive. He waterboards him. He does the most horrific form of torture
So funny, dude.
that the world has ever come up with. Because this guy doesn't know that.
Also, we didn't even mention the Redditor who's trying to assault the one who buys this woman.
Oh, yeah.
The fucking Redditor.
Bring this guy up, dude. This got to be your favorite part of the movie now.
This guy is like in a different film for sure.
The guy who is trying to buy the girl who's been sex trafficked is like, he looks like the guy. Who's the name of the comedian that does the divorced dads playing cards? the guy who tries to buy this girl looks like Graham Barrett, where obviously the look of Graham is like a bit, you know, because his whole thing is being like a weird Redditor, you know, like, anyway, it's kind of like he has a rat tail. He has a rat tail ponytail.
But he's like steampunk a little bit. And
he's a D&D villain for sure.
He looks a little bit like the guy Al from Toy Story 2 who has his own toy shop. He's kind of built like him a little bit. And he's very like, he just looks like he's, what's the word? He just looks, my lady, yes, I would love to sexually assault you. Like
he wears a top hat.
He wears a top hat. He has
a cape, and he smokes cigarettes out of the Corella Deville
stick.
The Corella Deville cigarette stick.
It's so weird. And he's like he like FaceTimes them at one point, the captors, and he's like, "Say, do you still have that girl? I'd love to." You know, they're like, "All right, cool, yeah, we'll clean her up real good for you." He's like, "Nope, not necessary. Keep her dirty. I want her dirty. Bring her over." You know, it's just like, what is this guy?
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was really odd. I just wanted to mention him before we left today.
Yeah, it's all good. My least favorite part of this movie is the fact that Jason Statham is not the one who says a working man.
Yes.
I said this earlier. The guy who says it, I'm like, fuck you. How dare you? How dare you think you have the fucking right to call this man a working man? So yeah, that part fucking sucked.
Yeah, my favorite scene or part of the movie or whatever is when he scraped the guy's face across the tile and crushed glass, because it was so effective in its sound design that I actually had to like turn away from the screen. It was so brutal, and so that was cool. And my least favorite part of the movie is the section that you said that they should remove entirely. I was bored. You know, the movie. Something that I would give it credit for is that within the first 10 minutes, he's fighting someone. He's fighting some drug dealer guys who like get on his.
I do want to talk about that for a second. Yeah, the way we know that he can fight like that is these guys show up to like shake down one of his employees, like one of the guys working on the construction site for money, and he goes and he beats the shit out of them, and there's like 4 of them. And then his employee has like a broken nose with blood running down his nose, a black eye. And he's like, "Get back to work." I was like, "You fucking asshole. You're a piece of shit."
Yeah. So they, you know, I would give them credit. It's like they start fighting and shit immediately. I'm like, good. So when you take it away from me, you know, you give me some fight scenes, you give me this and that. They even play, dude. What was with the song switch? I know we're trying to end this episode. What was with the song switch when he's in the biker bar and then they start playing a fucking Irish?
Horrible. They were in a biker bar that was playing like country western. And then when he's like ready to fight them, they just start playing a fucking Irish fighting song. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Really stupid. And then it ends and new music comes back in and it's really serious and it's like dun, dun, dun,
which, by the way, there's
dun,
music
dun.
playing almost every single minute of this entire movie.
It's 2 movies in a row like that. Anyways, so that was my least favorite part. Just get rid of the whole him buying drugs and for no reason thing, and it would have been a more entertaining movie.
Yep. And that is Working Man. I don't know, fucking 2 out of 10. Yeah,
it's a 2 out of 10
movie.
It's better than Imaginary.
It'll be better
than Love Hurts.
It's better than Love Hurts. It's better than Imaginary. It's better than The Nun. But that's as much as I want to talk about this movie. So we're streaming all the time. You can find us at Wild Dream Stream on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch, and YouTube. You can find us at Wild Dream Pod on Instagram primarily, sometimes on TikTok. You can get involved in the conversation. Let us know what you thought of this movie. Let us know what you thought of this episode if you listened all the way through. Thank you for being here with us. Hopefully we'll have some better movies coming out soon that we can actually review, despite the fact that next week is literally the Minecraft movie. So probably not going to go see that one. Oof. We will see. We'll keep you guys updated. But if you miss us and you want to come talk to us, we're streaming all the time. We're actually talking about doing some more just chatting streams.
Yeah.
Some just chatting streams. We've never done those. But we were on our last stream, we were just chatting so much that we were like, man, maybe we should just do this at least once every now and then, maybe once a month or something like that.
Yeah.
Where we do a just chatting stream. But it was a lot of fun. So come and join us and come hang out.
And chat.
Until next time, we love you.
We also kiss you.
Good night.
Good night.